Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. You are welcome for online class Ekalava. We are going to see the last poem, that is 7th unit poem. Let us see what it is. The stick together families. Okay, children, what you mean by family? Yeah, the family members, father, mother. Yeah, if I ask you, you will be just telling that father, mother and kids. But that is a nuclear family. Most of the thing were in nuclear nowadays. But you just think over, if it is a joint family with the grandparents, aunt and uncles, maternal uncle and aunt, and paternal uncle and aunt, and just staying their son and daughters with you, it will be a big family. And there is lot of advantages and lot of disadvantages when you were in a joint family as well as in nuclear family. But get together and living is a great thing. The poet says very clearly about it. Edgar Albert Grost, American poet, was born in 1881 and he went to become widely known to the people's poet, a reflection of the family members. And this poem is related with get together families but came to us as a small family and joint family. There will be a lot of advantages. In small family there won't be any disturbance, but at the same time when both the parents were going to a family, they were going for a office, both parents, that father and mother, and just think over, the father and mother went for a job. When a child finishes his school and just going home, there won't be anybody to welcome them. And they will be very much worried. And children will be just throwing their bags somewhere and throwing their shoes and socks somewhere, and they will be all alone. As soon as they enter, the TV or their cell phone will be just welcoming them, and they will be learning only that, a loneliness and something which they feel that it is not encouraging them. Suppose if it is a joint family, you just imagine there will be your grandparents, aunt and uncles, and as soon as you go from a school, somebody will be there with a warm welcome, with some evening tiffin and something they will be just offering. The love and care which they are showering will never be missing one for you. You will be longing for that in a nuclear family, but in a joint family they will be enjoying. They will be not feeling lonely at all because someone is there to take care in the home, even if their parents is missing. So here this author talks about the family members, brothers and sister and their siblings relationship and how they feel. So this we are going to see in this poem. Let us see what it is, children. So you can see that your cousins and others, your brother, sister, and you will be just enjoying it. About the poet, Edgar Albert Guest, American poet, was born in 1881 but went on to become widely known as the people's poet, a reflection of the optimist nature of his life works and his popularity. He was born in Birmingham, England, but came to the US at the age of 10 and soon became a naturalized citizen. So he was born and brought in England, and then after 10 years he had just reached the US, and there he was in his own naturalism. You know that some people have the adaptation of the place, so he also one among. A newspaper man by profession, Guest was one of the most prolific poets the world has ever known, writing some 11,000 verses in his 77 years, for which he was made poet laureate for making. He was not always popular with his poetry writing. Peers who often thought he was too light to heart to be considered seriously. But his work endures to this day, and he was many fans around the world. So in his age, when he was writing poetry, the other peer group was thinking, why he is so simple writing like this? But as the days passed, it became a famous one, because in olden days they were just living like a joint family, and now you know that when nuclear family is there, and they were just given importance for this poem in these years. Many of his books became bestseller, particularly because they spoke to the everyday man and women. Notable examples being his first collection, A Heap of Living, published in 1916, which resonates to this day. He died in the year in 1959 and was buried in the Woodland and Cemetery in Detroit, USA. Okay, we'll see the gist of the poem. The poet Edgar Albert Guest, in this poem, The Stick Together Family, brings out the theme there is nothing quite as valuable as family for those lucky enough to have one. So here he just gives the theme that family is a great thing that you'll never get with anything. So it is a gift from God, he is saying. He brings out the difference in the attitude of the children living in joint family and nuclear family. So he brings the point how a joint family person will be thinking and nuclear family person will be thinking. The stick together families are the happiest of all, whereas brothers and sisters of nuclear families take separate ways. So here in the get together family situations, the person who were just grown up in the joint family will have a broad thinking, but a person who just gone in a nuclear family will be having a not much abandoned in their knowledge or sharing or caring like that. So here this had been explained by the poet. All the children from a joint family are the gladdest people who circle at the fireside. No power can break them except death. The rich and the poor folk imagine themselves to be wise and are quick in shattering all their little family ties. They go searching for pleasure in their own selected way, wandering and playing with strangers. They only harvest bitterness and find empty joy. So here it is very clear that how people in the joint family will be and how the people in the nuclear family will be. So they go search for pleasure in their own selected way. So because there are no family members in the family, so they have to go for and search from the outsiders. And wandering and playing with strangers, they only harvest bitterness and find empty joy. They'll be having only empty joy. But the wisest among them are the children of stick-together families. They together share their fun after their busy day is over and win their joy of earth. Only the old home room shelters all the charms of life. Finally, the poet invites all the wandering brothers to come back and join the stick-together families in their fireside and have fun with their relations. So finally, the poet invites all the wandering brothers to come back and join the stick-together family in their fireside and have fun in their life. So here the poet gives a suggestion to the children and to the younger person that they must come and join them as a group, and they must have a fire camp among the family members and they can enjoy the day. So he is giving a call for them. So let us see what the poem tells for us. The stick-together families. The stick-together families are happier by far than the brothers and the sisters who take separate highways are. The gladdest people living are the wholesome flock who make a circle at the fireside and no power but death can break. So here he says very clearly that the get-together family, that is joint family, will be just sitting and they'll be having brothers and sisters, they'll be having a talk, they'll be discussing their thoughts and they'll be just offering their advice and suggestion to their brothers and sisters, and they'll be just molding the children, and they'll be just having enjoyment in the evening at the fireside. So stick together family or always happier family. They are the happiest members in the family than the brothers and the sister who take separate highways or. But in nuclear family, the brothers and sisters will be having different thought and different thing. But the joint family, they will be having, but that will be corrected and molded at the right time. The gladdest people living are the wholesome folk who make. So they'll be the gladdest, happiest people. A circle, they'll be making a circle at the fireside that no power but death can break. So here only death can break in their joint families. So they'll be till then together because they're having unique oneness in their mind, and they'll be get together, they are living, and that shows that there was unity among them, and they'll be having enjoyment of sitting in the fireside and just enjoying their day. And the finest of convictions ever held beneath the sun, or the little family gathering when their busy day is done. There are rich folks, there are poor folk who imagine they are wise, and they are very quick to shatter all the little family ties. So same thing when there was a nuclear family, what will happen? There will be a thought will be varying, and they will be just finding different persons in outside, and there will be ties, there will be no time to share, and even time is shared, it will be end with fight or what. And because there won't be elders in the family to correct them. If grandparents are there, they will be correcting the grandchildren as well as their son and daughter. But this is missing when they were in a joint family, nuclear family, when their family is very small. So here this stanza tells that. And the finest of the conviction ever held beneath the sun, or the little family, so small family, little family, gatherings when the busy day is done. When a busy day is done, they are just having a gathering. There are rich folks and there are poor folk also, when rich or poor, whatever the condition of them, who imagine they are wise. Whether they are rich or poor, they imagine that they are wise, because that in a joint family, they will be having a thought that some elders are there, they will be teaching. But here it is not there. So they will be thinking, each one will be thinking that they are wise, and there will be a problem arising because of that. And they are very quick to shatter all the little family ties. So it will shatter all the little times which they are having. It will be shattered, the time will be shattering. Okay, children? Each goes searching after pleasure in his own selected way. In a small family, each one will be just going for their own selfish happiness, and they'll be just searching after pleasure in his own selected way. Each with strangers like to wander, and with strangers like to play. So there'll not be a oneness in the family, and there'll be father, mother, son and daughter, or sons. There will be always a problem among them, because each one will think they are wise, and each one will think that what they think is great, and there will be a fight because of that. But it is bitterness the harvest, and it is empty joy they find. So in the small family, they find there is no entertainment and there is no thing. So they find that there was selfishness, and there is no elders to correct them. They'll think that they are correct, and because of that there will be a ego clash, and there will be a problem, and that becomes a bitterness for them, each family member in that small family. For the children that are wisest are the stick together kind. So here he says that humbleness, and just they would have learnt right from childhood that what they are learning or what they are doing, they will be just asking from their grandparents, and so many wise things, stories and all. So they will be just molded in the young age. When they are growing up to the youth, they will be really a wisest person. They know how to respect the human being, because they were with their uncle, aunt and so many people in the family, and each and every one will be just guiding them, and sometimes something is wrong also, so grandparents will be correcting, and they will be learnt when they are growing, they are just molded easily, and so they will be the wisest people. The poet says they are the wisest people. There are some who seem to fancy that for gladness they must roam, that for smiles that are the brightest they must wander far from home, that the stranger's friend is the true friend and they travel for astray. They waste their lives in striving for a joy that's far away. So the real love and affection is there in the family members. Sometimes what we'll think that friends are very great and these children will be just going to the strangers and they'll be accepting love from them and care from them, but really they'll not be, because the strangers really, if they are good, they'll be getting that. Suppose you just think over, they are not of that perfect person, then they'll be cheated and at last it is a mere waste for them. So they will be just wandering far from home, they will be just going for a travel and meeting strangers like that, leaving the family members. That the stranger's friend is the true friend they think, but it is not true. Who can be a great friend than your father and mother? Who can be a great person than your grandparents? Who can be a great advisor like your uncle and aunt who is in the joint family? So this all they are missing. So they were just going and longing from far strange friends, and that was at last they are just realizing that it is really not good. That the stranger's friend is the true friend and they travel far astray. So for this reason they are traveling far astray. They waste their life in striving for a joy that's far away. So the life is far away and they are striving for this. It is mere waste for them. But the gladdest sort of people, when the busy day is done, or the brothers and the sisters who together share their fun, is the stick together family that wins the joys of earth, that hears the sweetest music and that finds the finest mirth. So the child who just brought in a joint family is the greatest, wisest child. It is just having a music and enjoyment, and fireside camp was arranged, and they were just enjoying the loveliest music in the family, and they have been brought by their uncle, aunt and grandparents, so they are so great. They feel love and happy in their life. It's the old home roof that shelters all the charm and that life can give. There you'll find the gladdest playground, there the happiest spot to live. And oh weary wandering brothers, if contentment you would win, come you back unto the friend's fireside and be a comrade with your kin. So here the poet says very clearly, if you were just outside your family, leaving your family and just going and finding a friend, a new friend as a strange friend and a true friend, you will not get better. You just come back and join in the joint family at the fireside, so that you will just get love, care and happiest moment in the family. So that was a warm welcome made by the poet, and I hope if you were in a joint family, you are the luckiest children. Suppose if you are not there, you just find time and ask your parents to be in a joint family, so that you will not miss the loving things. Okay children, we will just go for the last. Okay. So we have the figure of speech, metaphor, personification and imagery. It is the old home roof that shelters. There you find the gladdest playground. Personification, it is the stick together family that wins the joy of the earth. That line itself of personification, because it is given for the family, we are stick to family. For family, it is not a living thing. For that, he had given the person as imagery that hears the sweetest music. Okay, children, I hope you have been enjoying the poem. Stick together family, and you can love this poem, and you live with your relatives and grandparents, so that you will be having a loveliest and wisest thought. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you children.